Hello guys, Rollback1 here, coming at you with a new Yu-Gi-Oh video, and in today's Yu-Gi-Oh video, I have for you my first place return to locals properly tournament deck profile. I was able to come first in the first tournament that my locals was holding, and yes, I played the Alistair Monkey deck, the Alistair Flip, played Dogmatika cards, all of this stuff, but I managed to come first. I did record a few matches that are going to be released at some point during the week as well, so please look out for that as well. But I came first with this deck, and seeing as it's been a while since I've actually updated the Invoked deck, and I don't really make much deck profiles on it unless I actually top because, well, it's a deck that a lot of them are very similar, and they have a lot of different choices in them, but I still like to show it off when I win with it, because if I win with it, it means that those choices could be influential to your guys' choices and maybe tell you what you want to play with this deck as well. But guys, I managed to come first at my local OTS store. I did really well going XO, literally. I didn't drop a single match. I dropped one game in a match because I made one misplay, which you'll see probably in the matches because it was in the finals. And honestly, it was really cool because the rounds that I played were actually, round 1 was Blue Eyes, round 2 was Shadow Dino, round 3 was Gren Margie, that was actually a really hard match, round 4 was Tri-Brigade Gladiator Beasts, my friend Pilot said I still need to get his deck profile for you guys, and round 5 was against Sky Striker, which honestly, so many annoying cards in Sky Striker, always having the outs, but me just being able to power through it. But guys, enough of me talking about all of this. Let's actually get into the deck profile, because I've told you the rounds, I've told you my thoughts, and I want to show you guys the deck profile. So let's go ahead, move these cards to the side along with that glare because can't do anything about it, and show you guys the list. So starting off, we obviously play the free monkey himself, Alistair the Invoker. On normal summon, he searches Invocation. On flip, he searches Invocation. And we play 3 of him because, well, if we're not playing the Shadow build, we're playing the more pure build where we just play, like, maybe a few Shadows in the extra deck, we play 1 Schism in the main, and then we play the Dogmatikas and the Alistairs. So you want to play 3 of him. He's really just a good card that says, oh, infinite engine, where you just can keep making fusion materials, and because of that, we just win the game 9 times out of 10. So, free Alistair. We want consistency. Free Alistair gives us that consistency. Next, we play free Dogmatika Ecclesia. As I said, we're not playing the Shadow build, so we don't need to play less of Ecclesia. We want to be playing free because the free gives us the ability to get to our Dogmatika Punishments, our Dogmatika Maximus, our Dogmatika Knighted Fleur de Lis. Like, it allows us to get to all of our Dogmatika cards, allows us to essentially get to the ability to get to Winder a lot easier by searching Maximus, gives us a negate through the fact of searching Fleur de Lis, or gives us punishment to have a disruption during our opponent's turn. So just a very strong card. We want to be running it at free, and I did not regret running it at free once because the card is absolutely insane, being a free special summon, free search, and also having protection against any battle that an extract monster would do. So just very strong card that we played at free. We played 1 Maximus as well because I don't really like Maximus, because the fact that if we're playing in a format where our opponent knows we're going to be playing the Maximus, then we are going to see a lot of, oh, yeah, you can go ahead and send both your Unces to the graveyard to put both my cards on the board, which I really don't like. But in a closed format like this, where people aren't really expecting a lot of Dogmatika or a lot of extra deck hate and stuff like that, where cards will be sent from your extra deck to the graveyard, this card was actually very, very strong. And just being able to just send the Shadow at clone to go ahead and get the Schism, and then discard a random card or discard the Schism, to free the Nadir's Servant. Well, when we go ahead and send it with Nadir's Servant, add the Schism, and then discard the Schism, and then we just use Dogmatika Maximus to send a Construct, add it back, to give us just instant access into Winder. The card is just very, very strong. Send 2, give us infinite resources as well, and infinite pops through Omega and Elder Entity Unce. So, card is just very, very strong, and I don't like the card at times, because obviously, as I said, they can send their Unces, and then we just lose resources and just hurt like hell. But the card is really strong because it gives us easy access to Shadow Winder, which at 9 times out of 10 is a game a lot of the time. So Maximus is just a very, very strong card. 1 Fleur de Lis, free special summon, helps us OTK, and also is just literally a negate on legs. Like, we search it with the Ecclesia, we special summon it, we negate anything we want non-targeting. It's just a very, very strong card, and there is no reason why you should not be playing it. Next, for hand traps, we play 3 Ash Blossom and Joyous Springs. Best hand trap in the game. Like, honestly, you should be playing Ash if you have the Ashes, so it's just a very, very strong card. And honestly, I don't see any reason not to be playing 3 Ash. Like, Ash is just very good in this format for the fact that there are so many different decks that rely on the search mechanic and just being able to search or special summon from the deck that this just wins the game 9 times out of 10, and in this deck we want to be running a lot of hand traps, so we are running the 3 Ash Blossom, and we can get to it quite easily as well because we play a lot of draw power and a lot of consistency cards that can actually just activate cards, draw cards, which is just really decent. Next we play 2 Effect Veiler, only 2 in this deck because we are also only playing 2 Phantasme. The reason behind this is that I wanted to run 3 Phantasme, because Phantasme is just really, really strong, being that whenever your opponent link summons, you can draw cards and then just put a card that you don't want back. But the reason we're only playing 2 is that this format isn't very heavy on the link summoning mechanic. The only decks at the top of my head that I can think that links summon are the tri-brigade deck when they go ahead and use their tri-brigade effects, and obviously Drytron when they go ahead and link into maybe Link Karibo or the Thousand Eyes Idol, or the Relinquished Anima, that's it. So it's like, it's not very strong, but the reason we're playing the Effect Veiler is because of the Phantasme, because if we control cards, the impermanence doesn't do a lot. So, because as soon as we summon the Phantasme, if we draw impermanence, we can't use it. So I was thinking, oh, I'll play the Effect Veilers, because the Effect Veilers essentially say, oh, I can still use it even if I've got the Phantasme. And I thought that would just be really, really strong. I really like it. So I'm playing the 2 Phantasme and the 2 Veiler because of that. And then finally we're playing 2 Ghost Spell, because I really don't like my opponent being able to engage from the graveyard. I don't like my opponent being able to summon a Drytron from the graveyard. I don't like my opponent being able to use an Idea's Servant against me. Ghost Spell just says no to that, and I feel like 2 is a good number for her because not every deck runs graveyard recoverability, so I felt like the Bell was just strong because, well, if you're not playing it, I don't care because I can just discard it for Mecha Buff, but I would rather not draw multiples of it if I can't do it, so just a very, very good card. Those are the monsters. As always, the Invoked Dogmatika deck doesn't really run a lot of main monsters, but the monsters it runs are all very important along with the hand traps. So, yeah, monsters. Going into spells though, we obviously play the 3 Magical Meltdown. It searches our Alistar, it says that they can't negate the activation of my invocation, and it says they can't respond to the fusion summon of a fusion monster. So card is just very, very strong. We also play 3 Nadia's Servant. Card says search any Dogmatika card in Dogmatika monster in my deck, sends Nadia's Servant, sends Shadow Amp Clone to the graveyard to search these schisms, sends Elder Entity Unz to pop a card, sends Omega to recycle cards. Card is just very, very strong, and is normally a win con if I open it with Alistar the Invoker, because this plus Alistar is normally Mechaba, Winder, plus Dogmatika cards, so just a very, very strong card indeed. And we also play 3 Pot of Prosperity. Prosperity is kind of a funny one for me. I like it in the deck at 3, but I also hate it sometimes because there are times where if I banish too many extra resources, I really can't do anything, and because of that, I sometimes end up not winning. But when it comes up, being able to just excavate those additional few cards, if our opponent ashes the Alistar or the Magical Meltdown, and we use the Prosperity to activate a couple of cards, if we get to the card like Alistar, then we can play the game. If we get to cards like Ecclesia, we can win the game. Like, this card is basically saying it makes the deck slightly more consistent, and basically I may lose some of my extra deck, but the stuff that I lose in my extra deck, I normally only don't use it, or I get rid of it because I don't think I'm going to use it that game. Such as maybe if I'm not against a win deck, I'll banish the Origin, or if I don't think I'm going to use a Purgatorio, I'll banish the Purgatorio. Because like, this card is very strong, being able to just activate the top 3 cards of your deck and potentially get one, and still be able to special summon all of that. So I really thought it was necessary to be playing it in this deck, and honestly, I have not regretted playing this in the deck yet, and it's just very, very strong. So you just got to be smart with what you banish mainly. That's how the card goes. Next, we play 2 Invocation. It's Polymerization. It says I go ahead and go into my Invoked Engine. You don't need more than 2. 2 Droplets. I really wanted to play the 3rd, but I always ended up drawing more than 1 if I played 3, and I really didn't like that, so I chose to put it down to 2, and I'm liking it at 2 right now. If you want to play 3, you can. Like, I could always bump this up to 3 whenever I really wanted, but right now I'm only playing the 2. I feel like it's fine at 2, and the card just says screw Wind Barrier Statue, which is the main reason I play it, because I don't want to have to deal with Wind Barrier Statue, or even Dragoons for that matter as well. So yeah, Droplets is just a good card. We also play 2 Cosmic Cyclone and 1 Harpy Silver Duster. Obviously, there are decks like Eldritch in the format, there are decks like Sky Striker in the format, there are decks like Autogeist having a slight resurgence in the format, and I wanted to have back row removal for it, and I like playing back row removal, so we're playing back row removal for it. They're honestly very strong, and if you notice the misplay in my last round feature match that I had, you'll see that, yeah, bad play on me with the Duster, but still a very, very good card. And then the last 2 cards is 1 Terraforming to search the Magical Meltdown to guarantee we can get to our Invoked Engine, and then 1 Called by the Grave, so if our opponent drops an Ash Blossom, then we can just say no. Pretty much on that. Those are all the spells we play though. Obviously, spell lineup is super consistent. Like, I'm playing so many consistency cards in this deck. I'm playing like, what is it, 10 consistency spells, so we should always open a hand that has a way to play the game. Like, that's the whole point of why this deck is so good. It can always have hands that will allow you to play the game. Like, that's why I like the deck, and it's why I choose to play the deck. Next though, for trap cards, we play 2 Infinite Impermanents. Because I'm playing the Veiler, I don't want to play the 3rd Impermanence. I feel like 2 is enough, and you could obviously maybe take out the 2 Imperm, put in the 3rd Droplets, and put in the 3rd Veiler. But I just like having Imperm because obviously it's a card that says, oh, you're playing a card that I can't negate with Veiler on my turn. Well, then I just go ahead and drop the Imperm and say no to that as well. So it's just a decent card that can say negate. And I feel like it's just really strong because of that. We also play 2 Punishment. I feel like just 2 is enough. I don't want to play the 3rd, and 1 is too little for me when I'm playing the Invoked Dogmatika deck. So we play 2. I like it at 2. I feel like it's just a good number. And then 1 Schism because this says Winder, and Wind is pretty good. But yeah, that's the main deck. Main deck is obviously just, it's Invoked Dogmatika, it's the hand trap lineups, and the spell lineups are pretty basic. There are some things you could definitely change, but I like how I've got it right now, and I really don't think there's anything I would change. The only thing that I said you could probably change right now off the top of my head is maybe take out the 2 Imperms, put in a Droplets, and put in a 3rd Veiler. That's really it off the top of my head. But going on to the extra deck, we play 1 Almirage and 1 Secure Gardener. This is obviously to get a fire and a light in the graveyard for the invoked package, where you literally just go make the Almirage, turn the Almirage into Secure Gardener, and then you have your Mechaba. Simple as that. And it's also it's very important that you actually play this in this version of the build, because the amount of times where my Alistair actually gets ashed, and I just go, okay, make Almirage, make Secure Gardener, then get the Ecclesia, then just summon the Ecclesia, and then just special the Maximus, because I search the Ecclesia by banishing the Almirage, is very, very good. So, like, honestly, play both of these. Like, you can play the Magistus card, which is just the one that makes a light, but I like this because it guarantees that we can go ahead and summon the Maximus if we do get our Alistair ashed in. It's just very strong because of that. 1 Wind Pegasus, they destroy my cards. I send this to the graveyard. I shuffle away any card they control into deck just by banishing it from the graveyard. Very strong card. Omega, recycle all resources, pretty basic, that's all they're really there for. Elder Entity Unce, it says pop when I send it into graveyard, so send it with punishment, double pop. Unce with Nadir's Servant, it's a pop and a search, so just very strong card. 1 Titanclad, because Titanclad is just a very good card in this deck for the fact that you send it with Maximus and the App Clone. You use Maximus to send this and App Clone, that gives you access to Winder, and it also gives you access into any Dogmatika monster during the end phase, so you normally just end up searching Fleur de Lis with the Ecclesia that you have on board, and then you just go ahead and have a negate plus a Winder for your opponent's turn, which is just really, really strong. 1 Augustes, this card is amazing. This card says on summon pop, when your opponent special summons pop, and also can just become a very big boy. I really, really do like this card, and I was able to win matches at my locals because of this, because there was a point where in the Grand Margi match where my opponent super polyed me, taking my Mechaba and his own extra monster and making the invoked fusion, the Elysium. He made Elysium, and I couldn't do anything to it, so I had to go ahead and summon this, and I was able to pop the big Grand Margarine he had, summon this in defense mode, and he couldn't deal with this, because if he did try to deal with it, he would just lose. So, because he wouldn't have a big monster, and then he would not be able to play the game. So, card was just very, very strong. Card is a very, very good card, and this card literally won me games, so it's just insane. One Raijin for when we play up against wind decks. The card says set the wind barrier statue, so we set the wind barrier statue. We have to play it purely because wind barrier statue exists. There's no other reason. One Purgatorio. I like to attack all my opponent's monsters for game. Simple as that. Two Mechaba. He is the big negate boy. He is the main monster we're making through the Invoked engine, so I wanted to play at least two. And then the Shadow Engine, one Winder because it's Winder, absolutely insane. One App Clone because it says Search Schism, and one Shadow Construct because it's Construct. It says we summon it, we send the light monster to graveyard with the Schism, and then we just go ahead and attack your special summon monster and kill it. Like, honestly, these are the best three you should be running. There's no other Shadows that I think you should be running this format right now. Maybe Shekanaga if you have room for it, but I don't want it. I don't like the card at all, so yeah. But that's the extra deck. For side deck choices, obviously side deck choices go by what you think is going to be at your locals, what you think is going to be in a tournament. I very much sided for back row decks and also combo decks to an extent. So my side deck is kind of like iffy depending on what you see, but this is pretty much just my opinions on the side that I wanted to side for this tournament. So I played 2D Crow. This is for if a Drytron player appears, for if Elder Lich appear, for Sky Striker. This is generally to say I just banish any resource in your graveyard and prevent you from playing the game. 2 Drawn Lockbird, sorry. Drawn Lockbird, just very strong cards. Says no to Drytron, says no to the mirror match of Invoked, says no to any deck that just constantly draws cards. So just very strong card there as well. So I played it too. And the theme you might be seeing in this deck is that I'm running a lot of 2-off hand traps, and that's because I want a lot of different options, and that's the kind of like the reason why I'm running a lot of 2-offs. Like that's why. So 2 draw, 2 Nibiru for those combo decks. You go full combo, I drop the Nibiru, I win because I just pop it with the Augustes. So that's very good. 3 Lightning Storm for more back row removal. I really don't want to deal with back row decks, and Lightning Storm says no. 1 Imperial Order because, well, Sky Striker are a thing, so I want to deal with it. And then to go along with it, we play 2 Anti-Spell to just have that additional way to stop my opponent from playing the game. And then finally 3 Evenly Matched because, well, if we go up against back row decks, this card says no. If we go up against full combo deck that doesn't really make spell and trap negates, this card says no. And it's just a very, very strong card. But yeah, that is the whole deck profile. Honestly, the locals was very fun. It's great to be going back to my local OTS and just having lots on lots and lots of tournaments and lots of games throughout the entire day. But guys, that is all I have to say for this video. I hope you did very much enjoy. I hope you liked the video. I hope you liked the deck profile. I hope this is giving you some ideas for your own deck in general, because like honestly, you could take things from this deck, maybe put in your own invoked list, maybe get your own idea for an invoked list, and just take your own opinions for your own list. Like that's kind of like why I make these, because even though a lot of the invoked lists are very similar, I want to give you guys ideas for your own list by giving you my list to, you know, see the differences and maybe compare and see different ways to do it. But guys, that is all I have to say for this Yu-Gi-Oh video. I hope you did enjoy. Thank you so much for watching. It's great to see that local OTSs are reopening again so we can play tournaments. I'll probably be taking different decks to my locals outside of just obviously Alistair Monkey and stuff like that. But thank you so much for watching nonetheless, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Check out all the links in the description below. Tell me your thoughts on this list as well. And sorry for that glare, I can't do anything about it. Robot1 signing out, later all.